flash forward from Drippy. I don't know about that one with Montez. Gets the ulti just for the shield Cataclysm, and they are both so close to dead. Just stuck in the pen, but it's not. They can't get the extra bit of damage.
Oh, the headbutt from Buzio was so clutch in keeping them safe. Even then, I thought that maybe someone could step up and get an auto attack, but now it's barred.
Oh no.
Eyes on Kaisa.
He's going to give them the Timo thumbs up as Montez is in so much trouble, and yeah, he is just going to be dead. And FlyQuest will punish. Oh man, but it was so close to 2 kills!
I mean, even the Q at the end from the Jarvan had to tickle Buzio on the way out, but it's just not enough damage, and that's heartbreaking for VKS.
Oh, it absolutely is. Only 1 extra kill. It's on to Montez. It means that he's not going to be able to catch this wave. You can see crashing towards that top side. And so a 1.7 thousand gold lead to start things off. And we have to look back to the LTA finals. And some of the early games were actually kind of fine for VKS. A lot of what made FlyQuest feel so comfortable in that series was that the macro game was just a step ahead, right? And so when VKS were in these scrappy moments, they were able to find some angles. It was after that things were a problem. If they're a problem now, it's really bad.
And it was Buzio who picked up the finals MVP in that series as well, and again, he was involved in play number 1, kept that play safe on the top side as we get the replay here of it. And it gives enough time for Inspired to come along and finish off the kill, because I thought this was going to be a little bit risky. Like, you're putting so much DPS into the Alistair while you're just getting hit down by Masu, but obviously waiting for Disarm to come in. Thought they had enough to flash away, but that head buff, so crucial. Didn't even hit. I think the Pulverize not hitting was actually better, because it means that they can't get into that pit to actually finish them off. And just barely able to survive.
Yeah, that was our reaction too. As it turns out, as Buzio, yeah, going to be toying with them here just a little bit. As another death grip going to come on down there, as Bufo will be stunned up. It's both of them with basically the same ability, but Scion's is a little better, because that gets a knockup. Woodhouse doesn't have to charge up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. There are differences, but they are very similar shapes, and it's kind of funny. That's alright, Bufo once again just continuing to shove wave after wave into this turret, and now finally, there is a decent advantage here for the Mordekaiser as far as farm is concerned, almost 2 waves, as Boal, in fact, gives up on this this wave from before, and was actually just fighting Bufo, so a little bit further behind after this wave is going to be eradicated as well, as we do have an anchor connecting Death Charge down, as Voidseeker will land Masu, once again Cataclysm, but immediately dashes out of the way. The Arc of Ruin going to be doing a fair bit of work there. Unbreakable Will this time is available. Lucio uses it, gets a whole bunch of value. Now Bwipo's looking a little worse for wear, but not a lot of blue stuff available here for Boal, and Bwipo doesn't need to worry about that. Just needs that number to tick down, as he's inside the Death Realm, but he's looking kind of okay.
I'm shocked that Claw didn't connect, honestly, onto the side. I thought Boal was in a lot more trouble. And same with the top side. BKS really want to put the hurt on Tommaso and Buzio, but good guy Buzio blocking that hook meant that they just couldn't finish it off.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a shame here. And it's another attempted gank from Disarmus, not quite working out. Still, I mean, 1.7k, nothing to write home about, nothing to worry about. As we do get some vision down, does get information that Inspired has just gone back home. A little bit of 2v2 time possible if they do head back up there, but it looks like they have different ideas. Montez and Trippy moving out towards that bottom side.
Yeah, look, FlyQuest are still keeping on a roll when it comes to objectives. Already got the 3 Viper ups, now moving over towards the Dragon as well. I love double questioning themselves as to whether they want to fully commit, as Wibble's only just got back into the lane, and Boal might get the interrupt here.
Oh, just barely. As Masu was able to skate his way back. We haven't spoken too much about the mid lane, mainly because it's Orianna versus Victor. Notorious for being one of the least interesting matchups of all time, as this one isn't Trippy. There's feats of warfare going on over to Quad, and oh dear, just caught warding. Unfortunate outcome for a support, but one that is sometimes unavoidable.
It means Fly now will be able to get that Dragon. They've also can shift Yunara with Masu down to that bottom side and look to put a bit of pressure down, especially if they can keep Disarmus out of this bottom side, which looks like they just bottomed. They might be able to look for a dive onto Masu, or onto, sorry, Cortez.
Well, they can get there. You can see Buzio wrapping around. Another mini wave is going to crash in mid, opening things up for Quad, but he's just going to go for a little bit of a reset. But I mean, it's just VKS kind of bleeding gold at this point, and objectives at the same time. With Bo, it's that passive proc, and over again, things are looking more and more difficult. Riftmaker is now completed for the Mordekaiser. making him so sticky in this lane. It's a decent fully charged Q to come through from Boal. If he does get the combo, he can be scary. The problem is the answering buttons are doing work here from Flippo. And as you can see, sort of healing all the way. Oh, we do have the ulti connecting, but puts him into the death realm. And Dazamas, they both disappeared. Oh no, the Q is going to miss. Let's see whether Boal does have the fancy feed as he gets the shield. Cataclysm! Slam dunk onto Bwimpo, and BKS are on the board.
The best moving truck I've ever seen as he's able to sidestep
man, the
everything.
turning circle on that one made no sense.
Absolutely insane. And it's Bwimpo ends up falling. Now giving you a little bit of time alone with this topside turret. You're able to get a reset in, and BKS getting something on the board.
Let's see whether they can follow that up with some more success here. As on the bottom side of the map, it is just plates being taken. Slurple will connect as Wank just barely not finding the mark as Montes just wanted to get out of here. By the looks of things, we'll see whether it is going to be Kraken Slayer done. Let's have a look at this replay one more time though, as it was almost just a 1v1 that Whippo was able to win.
Yeah, Boal ends up cancelling a little dirty, so he still gets the damage. And then this Q not connecting as Boal gets the sidestep. Massive. These are just not enough damage in the tank. And then the Cataclysm brings the hurt down onto Whippo.
Yep, getting the Soul Furnace at just the right time to make sure that Boal was never going to die, allowing the Samus to get on in there. So really nicely played. Still 2.2k gold lead. Not exactly anything that Fly is going to be too worried about, but a step in the right direction here from BKS. And they have a very playable composition, right? Like it does the front to back thing. They can get picks if they would like to. They're going to need to. If they want Montes to be able to pop off, but their follow-up, right, the cleanup in these fights is going to be something that they'll be very capable of. Mira can get some of these hero shockwaves. We've seen already from BDD that it can happen, but he's going to get engaged on here as Busio gets the trample. They do decide not to go further, Spy just a little further away than he wanted to be.
Yeah, there's 20 seconds until the Rip Trail, so just trying to see if they can get some hurt on this Orion in legs so they can fall back towards that. Lucy's going to look at the reset now and go back and pick up a couple of wards. I think that's where Fly Quest can kind of use the advantage that they have the item and a half ticking over on most of their carries, just brute force their way in towards the objective. BKS, like, you can look for some picks around here. As you say, like, you still have that shockwave that can set up. It doesn't do a huge amount of damage, but if you find the right targets and you can pick off Masu in the middle of this fight, that's kind of the most the DPS of FlyQuest Connor.
Yeah, this will be feats of strength if Fly can actually pick up this Rift Herald. Don't necessarily need to worry about it though, because BKS have been yet to find any of the neutrals on this map. Outside of this Rift Skull, we do see Tasamas pick up now. Busio though lying in wait. Exactly in a great position, headbutts his way out. Cute little emotes, but not too much more to worry about as Inspired waiting in the wings. Will spot the BKS are in the area. But full control of the river right now.
FlyQuest are kind of happy to take it slow though. You can see at the bottom side of the map, Quad has to push against side and it can just chip away at this turret while we're waiting in this top side. So as long as they have that, they're good. But starting to maybe shift him up. Sorry to start this one off.
Oh, Montez on a flank angle, the flanking Kaiser. It's an interesting one. Has sometimes worked, sometimes been a catastrophe. As Whippo takes a fair bit of damage here. Boal really wanted to start a fight because he's moved and Quad hasn't. So now BKS certainly on the clock. They need to start this one off, take it down, get some value, because otherwise they might just lose a turret for nothing. Whippo is going to be rotating down, Inspired on that blast code, ready to get in here. It looks like Fly actually planning to fight for this. Turret does go down, and now Teleport could immediately come in. There it is. Knock up onto Busio, but he has the ultimate running. It's a triple knockup with that Pulverize, and Inspired gets himself out of there, but the shutdown is going to come on through. Montes in trouble as Whippo takes him out as well, and it's the Mordekaiser that's an absolute monster in the fight. Death Grip connects, triple kill for Mord and for Whippo. And BKS just reeling after that one.
The Mordekaiser came back from the Death Realm after yesterday's appearance, and Whippo is popping off. 3 kills in the fight, and FlyQuest, they just get everything.
And that's an example of what's supposed to happen when you pick the Mordekaiser, and it looked absolutely fantastic there. Man, an immovable object, absolutely. It was a decent start, but they just couldn't kill Busio. Like, engaging onto an Alistair, it's never really going to work out. and his pulverized setup the fight was beautiful. Let's have a look at it again.
Yeah, I think VKS thought, okay, Matsu's in a bit of an awkward spot, so you can see here with Deal doesn't really get into the fight for the longest time, but Whippo having such a good position here, immediately gets on towards the back line, and then, as you were talking about, Busio able to step out. Matsu, this 1v1 dual potential we talked about between the Kaisa and the Yunara, going in favour of Matsu, and then Whippo was just able to chase people down. Fly, not only did they win this fight, they got that bot lane tower. You now have the Runaan's Hurricane complete on towards the Yunara, and Rifttower's still up and available.
Yeah, I feel like we stole that clip from yesterday. Trimby, once again, not feeling fantastic about how the first team fight did go. And now, 3.3 thousand gold is going to be the lead. Mira now moving towards the top side, feeling like he's going to be the best one to deal with Whippo right now. Does have a tier stacked up before he builds that Archangel stuff. Not normally something that we need to talk about, but after yesterday I feel compelled to. As you can see, Samus will be able to start this. So no one actually did anything about the Rift Herald.
Yeah.
And so Shelly is now going to be getting the attention she deserves, and it will be picked up here by VKS in trade for the second Drake, which will be going over pretty comfortably here, FlyQuest.
Yeah, I did assume that FlyQuest would just try and take the fight the Rift Herald anyway.
That's probably why the Rift Herald is, because there's 50% of a turret dead.
But yeah, I thought you just have FlyQuest fight. You've got Masu in a great spot, and they will take the fight.
Yeah, they will. Source now down onto Trimby as into the back line goes to Samus. They get the ulti, they layer it on top of Masu and take him down. Whipper now fighting Mirror. There's the shockwave coming out. Death Grip not quite going to connect here as this looks a little bit better for VKS, but Trimby's going to go down. It's a double for Inspired as Quad turns up, and the Arcane Storm is now down onto Samus. The Death Ray is named pretty well here in this instance. And Fly punished them for going for that Herald.
Yeah, it looked like with Masu maybe going down, VKS had a chance, but it wasn't even close. Fly show up out of the woodwork and absolutely rinse VKS in the fight.
Oh man, and Mira was actually doing a pretty decent job there towards the top side of the fight. The problem is, if he's spending time 1v1ing a Mordekaiser, he can't be an Orianna. He's supposed to be there hitting 4 people with a shockwave.
It is also a very defensive build. Like the Seraph right into the Rolla is just like not really going to give you a huge amount of damage at this stage.
Bruiser Orianna.
Yeah. So it means that the actual Bruiser that has the DPS items and Inspired could do a lot of work in this fight as the Wukong. And then Quad looking great. He just finished off a second item before this fight as well. So the amount of DPS with that Leandri is coming out, able to finish off so many members.
Yep. Kind of benefiting off the cheeky little kill that he got earlier on in the game as well. A little bit accelerated, now 2-0 and 2, 700 gold in the lead. And Mira, I feel, is doing the best out of his whole team, right? Like, you compare his farm to everyone else, and he's 30 ahead of the next. And so Mira doing decently well, but is still pretty far behind.
Yeah, I mean, both mid laners kind of got to sit back, relax, put their feet up, and just kind of right-click.
It was just Red Dot Simulator for the mid laners.
But yeah, I think now Miru, sure he's hit his 2 items, but as you say, it's a Bruiser Orianna, not going to do a huge amount. He still needs a 3rd item to really start to do that DPS. But with the level that the game is talking to, it's going to be kind of difficult to hit that at the same pace that you need to keep up with Fly.
All right, so looking pretty dire for VKS, but I've got a little bit of a but. It's a 25% but. You know, it's not a great one, but there is one, and that is Otacon. Everything is throwable when there's an Otacon in.
It is the greatest objective that's happened.
It is.
We still haven't figured out how to do it.
If you really like games that are thrown away at a neutral objective, it is the greatest thing to be added to League of Legends. 100%. And we'll see whether FlyQuest are going to be falling into that trap, or whether it's going to be something that they use to their advantage. And I think that has been what has happened over the year. And that has been teams developing, understanding that this is an objective that you don't necessarily want to take, but you can bait your enemy team into dying in an unfortunate scenario. So we'll see whether they use it for that, or whether they just decide to kill it, which is what's looking like it's what's going to happen.
I will say though, you don't have Flash on Masu yet, which is what I thought FlyQuest would wait for, because you can see how vulnerable he has been in some of these fights. But BKS, very far away, you just had the resets come through from Miro as well.
There are double teleports. They could decide to go for it if they want to, but they instead, and I guess I feel a bit silly talking about it, I'm not going to lie.
No, your point was valid.
As you see here.
And that's not just me being the yes man.
I appreciate you. yes man or no. It means a lot. As Circle comes on down, Masu is going to be put into the Cataclysm, but unfortunately, Desamas is a little bit alone, and Masu just gets a couple of autos to take him out. Flash wasn't up, but it wasn't required either, as that's a decent little knockup from Boal, but still FlyQuest are as a unit looking for the angles, and it's just a Scion by himself. That is not going to be able to find it. And the flash in from Bwipo to take down Morteus. He does hold. They do manage to get the kill on the Mordekaiser, but unfortunately it's still not looking fantastic. A Zombie Scion not going to be able to get too much more. Judd is inspired. Sneaks on in and takes down the Kaiser. Decent little knock up there from Trimby, but the Cyclone is going to answer. And the Cyclone is not looking good here for BKS, as it's an ace picked up by Quad.
It's the bounce house for the party that is FlyQuest in this game. Managing to pick up so many kills and the Anacon, tower topside. And it's the perfect timing. Resets Venture Gold and Barons up in a minute and a half. But
oh my goodness.
You see here, Quad, they go onto him, but a good flash over the wall, and this Redemption gets so much value in this pit as well. But this is what we're saying. Ortez can't really get involved in this fight. Miru is the only one who can really get the DPS that he needs. And Bwipo even tries to get the ults. Doesn't quite manage it at the end. But still, nice flank from his fire then afterwards. Hops over the wall, realizes where his target is, and hasn't had to break the ult
left, right? Yeah. Killer Instinct was down, the flash was down, needed all of that to get out of the way of Bwipo, and then, I mean, Inspired is just so big. And we keep replaying the same clip. I don't want to acknowledge